Welcome back, everybody. Wildlife photographer and author Nicholas Dyer, alongside conservationist Peter Blinston, have put together a coffee table book that lets you into the secret world of painted wolves. Titled Painted Wolves, A Wild Dog's Life. This is a 300-page book that narrates the story of these species and just how they're said to have become, Africa's most persecuted predator in the last century. They also touch on how the painted wolf has endured an outrageous onslaught, which has seen their numbers decrease from 500,000 to only 6,500 today. Let's now welcome Nick. He's joining us in the studio this morning to tell us more about what this book has to offer. Nick, a very good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
Very good. Thanks.
All right. The painted wolf, what's that about?
The painted wolf is an incredible creature. It is not a dog, even though they're also called African wild dogs or Cape hunting dogs, but they're in a completely different genus. So the wild dog, the wild dog or the painted wolf, is a canid, but it's totally wild. It's not related to our domestic dogs.
So is that what it's called, the painted wolf?
It's called the painted wolf,
Okay.
which is the translation of the scientific name Lycaon pictus, but it's also called the African wild dog, and it's also called the Cape hunting dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the African hunting dog. It's called the ornate wolf. In English, we have a lot of names for it, almost as many as there are, which is only 6,500.
Right. What was it about this particular wildlife dog that propelled you to track them for 6 years and then put together a coffee table book?
I think it's just seeing how they live in the wild. They're the most wonderful creatures to actually see. They live in packs. They're probably Africa's most efficient hunter, maybe the world's most efficient hunter. 80% of their hunts end in kills. And also their social life. I mean, they really care for each other. They each have their specialities. They're run by an alpha female, and they just live in a very harmonious social life. They love playing. They're enormous fun to photograph.
And they're also Africa's most successful predators.
Yeah, that's
Do you share
exactly
those
right.
facts with us?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they say 80% of the hunts kill, and where I photograph them is in Mana Pools. It's the only park in Africa which allows you to photograph on foot.
Okay.
So I'm usually alone on foot photographing these animals. There's no recorded event of them harming a human.
Being aggressive,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay, and apparently they are now on the verge of extinction. Well, what could be possibly driving them to extinction?
Two things. So many years ago, so over the last century, they were considered vermin.
Okay.
And so you actually were given a reward if you handed in a tail and had shot one. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, absolutely. Incredible to think of that. But and so therefore that drove the population down from 500,000 just to 6,500. And now, again, human-wildlife conflict is a major problem. No one hunts them to kill them, but people put out snares and they get caught in them, which is a major cause of death when they're trying to hunt for impalas or something like that. And then another issue, they're natural predators here, which are the hyenas and lions. And they can also get diseases like rabies from domestic dogs. So
Okay.
they have a hard time.
So basically they don't go after humans, but
No.
to go after animals, as you mentioned.
No, I mean,
What can be done then to save them?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's I think the main thing is really education and awareness, so that people know who these are. Because a lot of people, especially in South Africa, many people know these animals. But in the rest of the world, everyone knows rhinos, lions, and elephants.
Yeah.
But they don't know these guys. And so a lot of education to the rest of the world, and also to the communities around them, that they're not as big a threat as many people feel.
And proceeds from the sales of this book will go towards the Painted Wolf Foundation.
Yes, that's right. That's
Give
a
us more
foundation.
details.
Yeah, sure. That's a foundation I set up with some leading conservationists, and basically it's got two roles: to raise awareness of the species globally,
Okay.
so that we can put them on the top table of conservation along with the lions and the rhinos, and also to raise money to fund the organizations, the incredible organizations on the ground that are doing incredible work to try and keep these guys with us.
And and I suppose that a great start was a successful launch of this book in, I understand, in Amsterdam, Perth, New York, London.
Yes,
et cetera.
yeah. Last year we did a big crowdfunding. We raised well over R1 million. and all the proceeds from this book go to the Painted Wolf Foundation. So sadly, I'm not making any money out of this, but hopefully the dogs are going to do okay from it.
Yeah, the dogs will survive.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the dogs' habitat. I mean, where do they normally, where are they normally? Are they in an enclosed, protected space, or are they just out in the wild?
No, so in South Africa, places like the Kruger and so forth are fenced, and so they're very much managed populations. But in the rest of Africa, the few that remain, they still roam anywhere. They're absolutely wild. They roam around with the lions, with the elephants, with everything. So there's no boundaries, and they can move incredible distances. Some of them have ranges of 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers.
Don't you think then that's another factor towards their extinction, the fact that they're roaming free and not being protected?
I think that's right, but I mean, wildlife, the thing is that, we want wildlife to be wildlife as opposed to just put in bomas and just for us to watch.
True.
So I think the incredible work that's being done is to educate people how to live with the wildlife and how that these animals, through tourism, and through other conservation efforts, can actually benefit those that have to live alongside them. Because if you've got one of these things denning near your farm and they're killing goats, it's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
But if they can be compensated in other ways, then that actually is one of the answers.
Okay, do share the details of where we can get hold of this book.
Yeah, sure. So really excited that we're getting it into South Africa. It will be at HPH Publishing, our publishers over here, and hphpublishing.co.za will actually sell the book. It'll also be in exclusive books and other bookshops. Okay. So that'll be exciting.
Nick, great to see you, man.
Fantastic.
And all the best, eh?
Thank you very much indeed.
And keep on keeping on, eh?
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, that was wildlife photographer and author Nicholas Dyer. He has been speaking to us about the coffee table book that he co-authored with Peter Blinston, titled Painted Wolves, A Wild Dog's Life. Well, if you also belong to a book club or you're a lone reader, you can also join us for a Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Simply send us a detailed description of your book club on email. You can also send us a picture of those books with a brief caption using our social media platforms. We use our Twitter handle at MorningLiveSABC, hashtag MorningLiveSABC. You can also tag us or send us a Facebook message via our page, MorningLiveSABC, and our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za.